Hello, my name is Derek Harkness. I'm principal of Carsglen Primary School and have been so for this past 6 years. At the minute I have a Bachelor of Education. That was my basic qualification whenever I came through Stranmillis College. Subsequent to that, I've done a Master's of Education and I've also undertaken the professional qualification for headship. Now, neither of those are essential for my role as principal, but they are advisable, I suppose, in terms of my own professional development and have helped me along the way. I suppose as you start, initially you are a classroom teacher, that's what you're qualified for, and I still enjoy that element of it, I still enjoy that contact with teaching pupils within a classroom setting and still would be involved in that to a little degree. Nevertheless, as you proceed in my career particularly, I felt I wanted to take on a leadership role and be instrumental in directing and guiding the school and have I suppose if you like, that bigger picture, that bigger overview of where school's going and being able to manage that and to lead not only teaching staff but also to lead the pupils and to lead, I suppose, in a sense, the governors as well in terms of the direction of a school and where we're going. It's been a few years since I qualified as a teacher, and I think even in those years going back to mid-80s, there was a desire that there would be more male role models in teaching even then. And I think over those incoming years that there's been certainly, seems to be a lack of male teachers within particularly the primary sector. I think it provides a balance to a staff, it provides a balance to a school if you've got a representation of both males and females, and certainly I would think, from my experience, it's certainly been a career which has been very good to me and has given me lots of opportunities. In my experience, male teachers have taught probably throughout the year groups within primary school, even down as far as year 1, although that would be the exception. Their role model aspect of their career and their teaching would probably fit into both girls and boys. I think it's just a good example in terms of not only what their teaching would be, but also in terms of maybe what their interests are, in terms of how they present themselves to the children. And for maybe socially for some of those children, it has to be said in this day and age, there maybe is lacking a male role model within their own home life. And therefore for some children, this is maybe the only male role model they actually get to experience. So therefore that's a very important and key role and position that they may be playing in the life of a child. And it's an opportunity to shape and to offer direction for children, I think, in terms of how they perceive males within not only society, but then obviously within education as well.
My name is Tony Young. I'm a Primary 7 teacher at Carsglen Primary School in Belfast. I've moved around the school in Key Stage 2 and I've kind of found my place now in Primary 7. As well as that, I'm also on the senior management of the school. I have 2 management allowances. One for assessment and one for PDMU throughout the school. I've also just completed my PQH course, a professional qualification for headship, so now I'm looking towards vice principal's jobs or even principal's jobs, so I am now looking to move on and further my career. A couple of years ago I won an award actually with Northgate, and they recognised that the ICT practice in my classroom was innovative. And one of the reasons that we won that, we had all of a sudden boys liked doing homework. We started to email homeworks, and the difference it made. We had discussion forums for homeworks, and children who traditionally wouldn't really be interested suddenly were. It had clicked with them, and that made a real difference to them as they progressed through year 7, and certainly as they made a transition into secondary school. As a year 7 teacher, that's something that you're always aware of. You want to make sure that transition goes well. So that would stand out as a highlight for me in my teaching career. There's so much. It's such a rewarding job that I always think you put a lot into it, but you certainly get a lot back. So there's a lot of little things that you make a difference, and it can be the very, very tiny things that do make that difference to a child. I know certainly when I was at Stranmillis, we had people who 2 years in decided, actually, I don't really like children. And they'd wasted 2 years of a degree course and then dropped out. For me, I worked in summer schemes. I worked in some summer schemes, and that's where I thought, I don't know why I chose primary over secondary. Actually, for me, it was probably more to do with my course choices. I wanted to do drama for my course, and it wasn't offered on a secondary level at that point. If you wanted to do PE, you were fine, you were secondary, but for me to do drama, it was only primary at that stage, so that's why I chose primary. And actually, when you progress through, then you have to specialise in Key Stage 1 or Key Stage 2, so it's split up again. And my tutors had actually recommended that I specialise in Key Stage 1, working with the much younger children. I decided no, personally I didn't feel that was for me. I enjoyed it on teaching practice, but I don't think that I couldn't see myself having a career working down the school like that. But it's nice to know you can be flexible and move between the two.
Hello there, my name's Nigel Charles and I'm a teacher at Carsden Primary School. I teach P4, Year 4, and I've been a teacher here for 4 years. Well, I suppose it's linked back to my own education. I had a lot of male role models, and certainly they encouraged me to take on the profession, and I was encouraged in the past in classes and with past teachers that I had, and they felt that I had the skills communication-wise to teach, and it's something I've been really interested in, and something I want to take on from school. Biggest issues in my classroom are the variety of abilities, the big range of abilities. You have children with something like a reading age P4 or 10 or 11. You have children there who find it very, very difficult to read or write. Those children with special educational needs, and really catering for their needs. But I also find too that it's not only those children who maybe struggle, it's the children too that are at the top of the scale. How do you keep those children motivated and keep those children pushed through? Number one tip for interview is be confident, and especially if you're going into school, know the school, about the school that you're looking to apply for. Make sure you know all about the curriculum and things like that, and sell yourself. It's very, very important. It's very, very important also that you make it very clear how you're going to be an asset to that school, because there are so many applicants that you have to put yourself out there and show why you are number one.
My name's Graham Baird. I've been working in Carnmoney Primary School for 7 years now and teaching in the primary sector for 9 years. I've taught classes from P5 to P7, including composite classes as well. It was actually suggested to me that I had some of the skills that would be needed to be successful in the primary sector, being a teacher. It wasn't something really that I had considered or really had a burning desire to do all my life, and that didn't come until my later stages of secondary education, when I was choosing A-level subjects, that it was really something that I thought I should focus on. But it was recommended to me actually as a beginning, and that's what started the thought process. I think there is a really, really important need and a big need for children to have a balance with everything as far as school is concerned in their school lives, males and females. I think it's important that there's a balance of both. That's not to say that all teachers should be male, all teachers should be female. We both bring different skills, and every individual brings different experiences and characteristics to the classroom. But I think it's very important that children, especially those who come from a single parent background, have a male role model at some stage in their primary career. I think to be a teacher, full stop, you need to be extremely adaptable and open to change. Being male or female, I think that's the main thing I have found in my career so far. You have to have an open mind and be open to change and new ideas. Thinking about the other male teachers in our school, we have a wide variety of skills between us. I take the football team, under 10 and under 11s, and a couple of other men here take the choir, rugby. So there's a wide variety of skills that the male teachers here bring to our school.
Hello, my name's Alan Hayward and I'm a Primary 6 teacher in Carnmoney Primary School in Newtownabbey. I've been a primary school teacher for 19 years. It doesn't seem that long, it's just flown by. Before I was a teacher, I was an engineer for about 10 years. But I found it really wasn't satisfying me and I wanted to try something else. So I suppose I didn't come into teaching by the conventional route. I thought a lot about what I wanted to do, and I considered both areas of teaching, both primary and secondary, and indeed tertiary as well. My degree was in engineering, and I suppose I could have done mathematics or science, but I was drawn to primary education because of the wide range of subjects that you engage in, and indeed also my idea of the relationship that you build up with a class over a whole year. I suppose I always remembered the good experience that I'd had in my primary school, and I suppose I wanted to try and do my part in trying to continue that if it was possible. And one of the things that's great about being a teacher is that you bring your own strengths and you help the children by what you bring to them. So I think it would be very boring for the children if they had the same style of teacher every single year. And also, of course, some styles suit some children and not others. So I think that it would be a big disadvantage if we were all the same. I think you need to be enthusiastic as well, because that communicates strongly to the children. If you can be interesting, I don't know what interesting actually means, but it certainly does help if you can try to find new and different ways of putting things. And as a primary school teacher, I think that you have to have a regard for all the areas of the curriculum, not just one or two. So you need to be prepared to put your hand to PE and art and music, as well as literacy and mathematics. I must say, as somebody who considered lots of reasons and my thinking about why I went into teaching, the fact that I was a male didn't really enter into my thinking at all. And in my experience, I haven't found people to pass any judgment on that. Maybe I don't know what circles that I move in, but I've found people are interested or have their own opinions about teaching and primary school teaching in particular, and issues to do with education. But I've never found them to treat me any differently as a man than if I was a woman. I mean, I really don't know the answer to that, but as far as I can see, it's not a question that many people are asking out there.
Hi, my name is Pete Davis. I am a primary 4 teacher in Carnmoney Primary School. Been teaching 7 years now. I would say I'd be fairly laid back. Maybe try and get a bit of humour into the day, try and get the kids to relax and enjoy learning. I think it's really important that children are relaxed and they do feel comfortable learning. I think they take in more. So we would always start the day with morning warm-ups or brain gym, bit of pop music, maybe get the kids jumping up and dancing. Do our daily tests, and then would either go straight into literacy or numeracy. Then break, a bit more literacy or numeracy, lunch, and then we try and tend to focus on topic work in the afternoons, where we incorporate all different elements of the curriculum throughout the afternoon, and then any extracurricular activities sort of last hour tend to be there. First thing, do your research, find out about the place that you're going. If it's to university, find out what you'll be doing on the course if you get in, find out about the university, what their values are. If it's a school, find out their ethos, read up prospectus, read over inspection reports, make sure you know where you're going so you can answer questions appropriate to the place that you're going to. The second thing, I would say, just be passionate. No one really wants to employ someone who doesn't care about their job. So let your personality shine through, don't be too reading by rote, don't read off a page, don't find the magic answer, just be yourself. I definitely think you have to make sure that the children are pastorally cared for and feel safe in their learning environment before you even think about teaching. You bring a substitute teacher in for one day and they'll probably, with a class that are normally fine, have more difficulties than a teacher who's been with them all year, purely because you need to build up a relationship with the children. They need to trust you before they feel like they should bother listening to you.